What is up, guys and girls? Rich Renegade here, bringing you my thoughts and analysis on a little game that came up in PlayStation Experience 2016, which is by the name of the Crash Bandicoot Sane Trilogy. Now, for you guys and girls that may or may not know me, I am a huge Crash Bandicoot fan. I have played every single game that has been released on the main consoles. I have also had the majority of the toy collection when I was a really young kid, but we got to see for the first time the Crash Bandicoot 1 footage all done up in the HD treatment, which in this video I want to discuss the changes that they have stated, as well as a few sort of minor things that they have done sort of in the background which they didn't really touch upon, and sort of discuss my thoughts and opinions on this, as well as mainly how this will affect, or rather improve, the accessibility for both old fans and new fans alike. So without further ado, we'll get right into it. So one of the main changes, and this is probably going to be the biggest thing for the accessibility, is a box count at the end of the stage. Now, the two stages that we got to see both in a lot of interviews was Heavy Machinery and Insanity Beach. Now, at the end of both of these stages there is a box count similar to Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, where it was just right by the warp pad, and what we have seen in Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. In the HUD itself, when you bring down your life on Wumpa Fruit, there is an actual box count. Actually counts towards the total level box count to earn the gem in Heavy Machinery. Now, this wasn't touched upon at all in any interviews, but if you watch the footage, Heavy Machinery at the end of the stage, I believe the box count, without looking at the footage, is around 80 to 90 boxes. In the original game, not including the bonus rounds for both Tornia and Embryo respectively, I believe the box count was roughly around the 30 box count margin, 30 to 40 at most. And it seems like that they're going down the route of how Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3 done their bonus rounds, which is that you can possibly go back to the bonus round in level if you die during it, but the box count in the bonus round counts towards the total level. Now, personally, this is actually going to be pretty interesting to see, because the Embryo bonus stages were probably somewhat pretty challenging, whilst the Tornia ones were more of like a life reward. You mainly done them to earn firstly a checkpoint in the game, and you could pretty much, if you didn't really care about saving in the original game, you can pretty much just grab the life boxes and either jump down or go on the warp pad to go back. There wasn't really much else to those bonus rounds. Now, we don't know to what extent this is going to go for the Cortex bonus rounds, because the Cortex bonus rounds earn you a key which would unlock a hidden level, and there was only 2 hidden levels in the original game, which is probably going to be the same for the remastered version. Now, this is going to be interesting because of the fact that when the warp pads appear, we haven't been shown if you can re-enter it straight away. I'd imagine for the Tornia ones you can, and probably the Cortex ones that you cannot. Now, what's also interesting to note is that there were a few images that were shown off after and during the PlayStation experience. One of them was the introduction of time trials before they had any interviews stating this openly, which it shows Crash Bandicoot in the Insanity Beach level with time trial boxes in the background and the little timer in the corner. Now, they have openly stated since this that there will be time trials in Crash Bandicoot 1 and Crash Bandicoot 2, which is going to be pretty fun to say the least, but could also be very annoying. Why do I say this? 2 words, or well, 2 sets of 2 words. Slippery Climb, Sunset Vista. If you guys have played Crash Bandicoot 1, and girls that have played Crash Bandicoot 1, you pretty much know what I'm talking about. There's going to be one or a few stages, both in Crash 1 and 2, and even 3 to that extent, which 3 already had time trials, where the levels themselves can be quite annoying. And with the way that if they're building it, which they're doing it extremely to the point where it's like for like, besides of course graphics, in terms of like the layout, nothing's changed of the layout. Some of these stages are going to be pretty hard to do a time trial on, but they will be fun nonetheless. And what's also interesting to note is that when you pause the game, and this is a minor thing, when you pause the game, the only thing you got in the original game was just a little option saying pause, and then I believe it was press select to go back to the map. the Insane Edition actually has the same or similar pause menu to that of Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3, where you can see your total progress, your total gems count, and your total keys count, as well as your percentage as to how much you have completed, which I thought that was pretty nice that they sort of introduced that and they didn't keep it, again, exactly the same as the original game in that sense. Now, again, those are the few changes that I did see. The opening cinematic, the only big change was the way they showed off Tonya. They didn't show off Tonya sort of just being restricted straight away. You actually saw her sort of fighting Cortex's minions off before they kind of surrounded her, which was, again, the intro cinematic is near enough like for like, and it is beautiful. Just seeing it in motion, it literally looks like Ratchet & Clank PS4. When you compare that to the original Ratchet & Clank game on the PS2, the difference, it is huge, and it looks, the best way I can describe it is like Pixar. It looks like a Pixar film in a game, which is amazing. But a few other things to point out was the death animation. Now, this is one of the things that you may have only seen a glimpse on the gameplay that was shown off, not the trailers. Or the trailer, should I say, that animation. Now, this is one of the things that you may have only seen a glimpse on the gameplay that was shown off, not the trailers, or the trailer, should I say, that was shown, but what they actually are introducing some of the unique death animations that were introduced in Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3 respectively back into Crash Bandicoot 1. The only one that we really got to see was the angel animation, which in Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3, some enemies which if you just ran into them without doing an animation, Crash would turn into an angel. And this is what was shown off in the gameplay during the heavy machinery phase, where a player ran into one of the robotic animals and Crash turned into an angel. Now, it seems like possibly we may have more unique animations coming down the road with certain enemies and certain bosses, which would be pretty cool to see. I won't lie, I'd love to see what would happen with, say, maybe Pinstripe and with, say, Ripperoo and even Cortex at the end. But there was only a very few animations. There was the squashed animation, there was the sort of the most infamous one, which is he spins around in a circle and he falls down, and then you had the burn animation, and you had the electrocution animation as well. So I believe that's most of the animations they had in the original PS1 game. But also, the other point that I do need to mention is the animation at the end when you completed the stage. Now, it seems like that they're putting a lot of work into this to make it unique. If you miss boxes, you still get the infamous "you've missed X amount of boxes." But what's interesting to note is that depending on how many boxes you missed, Crash will eventually start falling lower and lower and lower to the ground, to the point where he is literally falling with his arms pretty much flailing about. Just literally just there getting crushed by boxes, which makes you pretty sad to know that, you know, you're kind of hurting your buddy there, which I thought was pretty unique. And there was also two unique animations when Crash earns a gem that we have seen. There was one where he has somehow eaten a gem thinking it's a Wumpa fruit and has spat it back out, and then there's one where he just reaches into his back pocket and pulls out the gem and then does his traditional ta-da-da little celebration, which I thought was pretty unique, because again, there was only really the one animation in Crash Bandicoot 1, which is he had one animation for the box counts, which was just him sort of sheltering himself and not actually falling down, and then you had the one where if he earned a gem, he would just look left and right constantly, you see all the gems pass, and then when the gem that you earned from that level comes along, then he would do his little celebratory spin and ta-da. So that was all the changes that I saw in the Crash Bandicoot gameplay and the trailer. Honestly, I am psyched for this. This is probably going to be, without a shadow of a doubt, my favourite game of like next year, and that's all I'm going to be talking about, and that's all I'm going to be doing. But tell me what you guys think. Did you see any other changes about the gameplay and the mechanics that maybe I haven't gone over or haven't touched upon? And more importantly, what do you guys think? What do you think of the changes? Do you think I have any credibility into what I've said, or maybe do you not like the changes that have been shown off? and what is your stance on the possible extras that they are going to introduce into Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2 to extend the gameplay. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on this. If you did like this video and want sort of other videos like this down the road, I'm certainly going to be doing some more, especially when we get to see more footage of Crash Bandicoot 2 and Crash Bandicoot 3 warped in the insane treatment that the various versions are giving them. But tell me what you think in the comment section down below, and until the next Crash Bandicoot video, which I'm hoping will not be long because I'm really hyped for this game, I will see you Bandicoots in the next video.